Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. I thought I would try something a little different here. I've gathered together 30 of my favorite TV comedy characters throughout the years, going back to the 60s. And I might have forgotten one or two, of course, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten my main favorites. And so I'm going to be ranking them. This is the website called pubmeeple.com. And so I choose between these two TV characters, the one I like the most, and see how they're all ranked. Just an easier way to rank them. So Maxwell Smart and Gomer Pyle, and I think all 30 of these are hilarious comedy characters. I got to go with Gomer Pyle, though. He had, of course, the Gomer Pyle show in the 60s, and he started Jim Neighbors, of course, in the Andy Griffith show. So, Gomer Pyle. Edith Bunker of All in the Family and Lola Heatherton of SCTV. And I'm not always going to remember their real names, but Lola Heatherton, of course, was Catherine O'Hara. Like I said, I'm not going to remember every name. So I've got to go with Lola, even though Edith Bunker was great in All in the Family. Edith Prickley from SCTV, another great character, and Sammy Maudlin from SCTV. I got to go with Edith Prickley. But Sammy, like I said, all of these characters are great. Bobby Bittman from SCTV, Eugene Levy, of course, and Sergeant Schultz from Hogan's Heroes, if you remember that. I loved it. It's special memories for me because my dad used to really enjoy Hogan's Heroes, even though it's based, of course, on the war. My dad was in World War II, but he got a kick out of the show. I see nothing, Sergeant Schultz would say. But I love Bobby Bittman, his, the really bad comedian. Remind you of anybody? Got to go with Bobby Bittman. Okay, Michael Scott of The Office and George Jefferson. That's easy for me. Michael Scott. Kramer from Seinfeld, and Eddie Haskell. Now, the thing is with Kramer, I know he's one of the most beloved comedy characters on TV, but during the run of Seinfeld, I never watched the show. I wasn't really into most situation comedies. But since then, of course, I've seen some of the shows, and every time I do see some of the shows, I think they're hilarious. But I have special memories, too, of Eddie Haskell. He was he would, suck up to the adults on Leave It to Beaver. Meanwhile, he wasn't a very nice kid. So I got a kick out of that character. So I'm going to go, just for me personally, although I know most of you would choose Kramer, going to go with Eddie Haskell. Johnny LaRue, John Candy of SCTV, and Herman Munster from the Munsters. Got to go with Johnny LaRue. Elizabeth Montgomery, I had a crush on her when I was a kid, from Bewitched, and Jimmy Walker from Good Times. Got to go with Elizabeth Montgomery. Carol Burnett and Bob and Doug McKenzie, they're together from SCTV. Got to go with Bob and Doug McKenzie. Frank Burns from MASH. I loved the early seasons of MASH, and especially the shows with Frank Burns, and Borat. Oh my gosh. Those are two of my favorite TV characters. Borat is so funny. But I have a soft spot for Frank Burns. Darn it. He was such a weasel. I gotta gotta go with Frank Burns. Barney Fife of The Andy Griffith Show, Don Knotts, and Jiminy Glick, Martin Short. Oh my gosh, this is so difficult. I know that Molly would pick Jiminy Glick. She loves Martin Short, as do I. But I got to go with Barney Fife. Lloyd the Barber, another great character from the Andy Griffith Show. And Jerry Hubbard, the actor Fred Willard, one of my favorite comedians, from America Tonight. And also it was called Fernwood Tonight when it first started. I got to go with Jerry Hubbard. Just so funny. Lucy Ricardo. I love Lucy. And Archie Bunker. Two fantastic characters. Got to go with Lucy, one of the greats. Ed Grimley, another Martin Short character. I could have listed 10 of his characters. And Creed from The Office. Creed is so, he's not, he doesn't have lines in every show, but whenever he appears, he's hilarious. I'm going to go with Creed. Gomer Pyle or Gomez and Morticia from the Addams Family. They're together. Gomer Pyle. Maxwell Smart, Gomez and Morticia. Got to go with Maxwell Smart, Don Adams. Edith Prickley, Lola Heatherton. Got to go with Lola. Edith Bunker, Edith Prickley. Oh, two Ediths. Edith Bunker. Michael Scott, Bobby Bittman. Got to go with Michael Scott from The Office. George Jefferson, Bobby Bittman. George was great. Bobby Bittman. Sergeant Schultz, great character from Hogan's Heroes. I See Nothing. Got to go with him. Johnny LaRue from SCTV and Eddie Haskell. Johnny LaRue. Herman Munster. Elizabeth Montgomery. And another character that's great, but like I said, I just didn't watch enough of the show, so I'm not as big of a fan as some of you out there would be, but fantastic. And I got to go with George. Frank Burns and Bob and Doug McKenzie, got to go with Frank Burns. Borat and Bob and Doug McKenzie, got to go with Borat. Jerry Hubbard and Barney Fife, got to go with Barney Fife. Jiminy Glick and Jerry Hubbard. Jiminy Glick. Creed Bratton, is that how we say it? Lucy Ricardo. Just for me personally, once again, because I've watched more of The Office than I love Lucy. Creed. Ed Grimley, got to go with Ed. Lola Heatherton and Gomer Pyle. Lola was so good, but some of these are pretty even. Edith Bunker and Gomer Pyle. Got to go with Gomer Pyle. Maxwell Smart, Edith Bunker. Maxwell Smart. Gomez and Morticia. Edith Bunker. Edith Prickley and Gomez and Morticia. Edith Prickley. Sammy Maudlin, all these SCTV characters. Sammy Maudlin. Johnny LaRue, Michael Scott, as much as I love John Candy. Bobby Bittman and Johnny LaRue. Herman Munster, Bobby Bittman. Herman Munster. Eddie Haskell and Bobby Bittman. Sergeant Schultz, got to go with Eddie Haskell. Kramer and Sergeant Schultz. Just for me, once again, Sergeant Schultz. I've explained already. George, I was going to say George Harrison. George Jefferson and Kramer. I've just watched more of the Jeffersons than Seinfeld. Frank Burns and George Costanza. Going to go with Frank Burns. Borat. Got to go with Borat. Got to go with George. The shows I've seen, he's just so funny. Da, da, da. They're funnier than Elizabeth Montgomery. I just had a crush on her. Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett. Creed and Barney Fife. Barney Fife. Jiminy Glick. Got to go with Jiminy Glick. Jerry Hubbard. Got to go with Jerry Hubbard. Floyd the Barber. He was crazy. They both were, right? Kind of similar in some ways. Got to go with Creed. Ed Grimley. He's crazy too. Got to go with Ed Grimley. Lucy Ricardo. Got to go with Lucy. Archie Bunker. Got to go with Archie. Michael Scott. Johnny LaRue. Ooh. Got to go with Lola. Gomer Pyle, Herman Munster. Bobby Bittman, Gomer Pyle. Bobby Bittman. Eddie Haskell, Gomer Pyle. Gomer Pyle. Maxwell Smart. Eddie Haskell. Sergeant Schultz, Maxwell Smart. Edith Bunker. Edith Bunker. Edith Prickley, Sergeant Schultz. Edith Prickley. Sammy Maudlin. Sammy Maudlin. Sergeant Schultz. Gomez and Morticia. Excuse me. Ooh, that's difficult, but I got to go with Barney. Jiminy Glick. Frank Burns. Jiminy Glick. Jerry Hubbard. Oh. Frank Burns. Borat and Jerry Hubbard. Got to go with Borat. Got to go with Jerry for me. Creed and George. I've just watched most of the seasons of The Office, so got to go with Creed. Ed Grimley. Ed. Lucy. I think I get more of a kick out of George. Bob and Doug McKenzie. Got to go with Lucy. Archie Bunker. Got to go with Archie Bunker. Floyd the Barber. Floyd the Barber. Barney Fife. Oh. Got to go with Barney Fife. Jiminy Glick, Michael Scott. Got to go with Michael Scott. Jiminy Glick. Frank Burns. Got to go with Borat. Jerry Hubbard. Got to go with Johnny LaRue. Got to go with Lola Heatherton. Got to go. I'm going to go with Jerry Hubbard. I hope he makes my top 10. Creed and Herman Munster. Herman Munster. Bobby Bittman and Creed. Creed. Ed Grimley. Bobby Bittman. Bobby Bittman. Gomer Pyle. Ed Grimley. George and Gomer Pyle. Got to go with George. Lucy Ricardo. Gomer Pyle. Eddie Haskell. Maxwell Smart. I just didn't grow up watching a lot of I Love Lucy, but Edith Bunker, got to go with Lucy there. Archie Bunker, got to go with Archie. Floyd the Barber, got to go with Edith Bunker. Edith Prickley. Floyd the Barber. Bob and Doug McKenzie. Edith Prickley. Sammy Maudlin. Sammy Maudlin. Sergeant Schultz. He was funny, though. Sergeant Schultz. Everyone's funny in this list. Bob and Doug McKenzie. Carol Burnett. Gomez. Yeah, the whole cast of the Carol Burnett show, I could have included them, right? Um, Carol, George was so good, but Carol Burnett, Elizabeth, George Jefferson, Kramer, because Elizabeth Montgomery maybe wasn't the most funny character, right? But I had a crush on her. Got to go with Kramer, of course. So at the very bottom is Jimmy Walker from Good Times. And then Elizabeth Montgomery and Kramer. And I know he's too low in the list, but I explained my reasons. George Jefferson, Carol Burnett. And the top 10. Yeah, I knew that number one would be Barney Fife from the Andy Griffith Show. Michael Scott from The Office, Jiminy Glick, better known as Martin Short, Frank Burns from MASH, Borat, of course, Johnny LaRue, John Candy, Jerry Hubbard, glad he made the top 10 list. Herman Munster, yeah, he was just such a great character. And Creed made the top 10. Way to go, Creed. So that is it. Out of this list, and also let me know who's missing that I didn't include. I'm sure going to hear about it. But just remember, I didn't always watch, especially TV situation comedies. A lot of them I didn't really care for. I like the weirder stuff, as you would probably know. But I'm happy with that. And out of this list, who would be your top 3? Yeah. So that's it. Please remember to like the video and leave a comment below, and have a great day. Goodbye.